What up, Dokkaners? The 7-year anniversary is only a couple of days away. The banners themselves are maybe 1 or 2 days more than that, but all I can do now is just sit and keep on imagining my dupes. With the dupes that I pull with these new 7-year LRs, the inevitable question then becomes, how do I build this unit? Do I go for full additional, full dodge, full critical? We will tackle those questions in this video to help you guys prepare for how you would potentially build these units. Sometimes it's very obvious, sometimes it's not. Sometimes it could be so ambiguous, there is no wrong answer. So if you guys have your own thoughts and opinions, I urge you to let me know in the comments down below, because this could only serve to benefit new players even more. If new players are trying to figure out how they want to build a unit, the answer doesn't lie in what people tell you, it's why they feel the way that they do. Because learning new perspectives and logical observations behind why people are making certain decisions is the best way for a new player to sort of learn how to build hidden potential units themselves. I can tell you from personal experience, my outlook on hidden potential changed from when I first started playing the game to how I play now. Sometimes I would focus primarily on what the units already did to make them even more valuable on what that one thing is. Sometimes I would want to focus on making them an all-around jack of all trades. It all depends on each individual situation. So what we're going to be doing here is we're going to be covering every single 7-year anniversary LR. And let's just go through it really quickly, because otherwise this video is going to take a very long time. So let's start with the Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta. The untransformed state has built-in critical, has attacks effective against all types, and can launch multiple supers potentially, and guards all attacks. So essentially, the base form for the two 7-year anniversary LRs are pretty much all covered. So what we want to be doing is focusing on the transform state, because it is a very easy transformation condition. It's simply 4 turns. And I want to focus on this unit more because it's a lot fancier. So looking at the super attacks, temporarily stacking attack and defense is great. Baseline stat is insane. Chance to perform a critical hit and reduces damage received by 7% per rainbow key sphere obtained. So here's our first thing. We can manipulate our critical hit ratio and the amount of damage that we take in, which is very good, because this also helps us in the slot 1 defense. Attacks effective against all types, good. Medium chance to perform a critical hit, which means critical hit is taken care of in the passive. High chance to launch an additional super attack. That means additional is also taken care of in the passive, which means the only logical explanation for a hidden potential setup would be dodge. High chance of evading enemies' super attack and countering with tremendous power. Here's the only issue with that, depending on who you are as a player. If you're somebody who wants to have an opportunity to counter every single instance of every single time, the dodge could potentially get in the way of that. If you have a situation where a super attack is headed your way and you dodge it thinking that a counter is coming up, sometimes that won't happen. It could be that your dodge and counter mechanic in your passive failed, but instead your hidden potential dodge kicked in and saved you, meaning you completely avoid the dodge or the attack altogether. For me, that's not a bad problem. I feel like that's a good problem to have, but for you it could be different. So the way you would build your unit would be then to focus on either dodge or additionals. Critical hit is going to be taken care of no matter what. You already have a base critical, and you can get even more depending on how many rainbow orbs you can pick up. But the additionals could be nice, because if you can launch multiple supers, if you can launch 3 supers in 1 turn on a 200% lead team with a base stat line of 177%, you are not going to take any damage anyway. And I would like to launch multiple supers with attacks effective against all types with a good chance for a critical multiple times, rather than having a little bit more of an enhanced dodge rate. Which is why my build for the physical Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta is 20 additional and 6 dodge. Let me know in the comments if you agree or disagree with that premise. I think it's pretty airtight. 20 additional, 6 avoision. Moving on now. By the way, I say avoision because as a kid, I could not say evasion. I would say avoision. To me, it made more sense. Moving on to the gods now, same exact deal. Their base form is exactly the same. They cover themselves pretty well. Moving on to the transform state though, looking at the passive, critical hit and dodge are manipulated by the amount of rainbow orbs that you pick up. Attacks effective against all types when key is 16. Launches an additional super attack when key is 20. Medium chance of performing a critical hit, medium chance of dodging. So here, critical hit and dodge are taken care of, which means your only logical choice is to go for more additionals. You could launch an additional super attack if key is 20 or more, guaranteed, or you would have a chance to launch an additional super attack anyway with your hidden potential, or you could get the best of both worlds and have both happen. So dodge is already taken care of, critical is taken care of, so your only course of action is to go for full additional. But then I would actually urge that you then go for dodge, because dodge isn't exactly the worst thing to have, because in the slot 1, sometimes there just might be a situation where the unit hasn't yet transformed. Guard is there and everything, but sometimes an attack is just so powerful and so lethal, you might need that little miracle. That 6 dodge could serve as that miracle while not taking anything away from any other trait that you value. So 6 dodge is actually very good. So both of my units are built exactly the same. Let me know in the comments if you agree or disagree with my 7-year anniversary first part LR builds. Moving on to the part 2 now. The Vegeta is kind of a disappointment. It's actually been a while since I've seen this unit's passive. I'm kind of surprised at how weird this guy's built. Don't really like his design, but in any case, how do you look at this unit and build him? His passive is all about gaining more stats when facing Goku and having, received a hit and guarding within the same turn. The one good thing that he has going for him is he has guaranteed guard, and that helps us tremendously in how we design this unit. With guaranteed guard, dodge is not as much of a factor. So what I want to do is focus on damage. How do I decide what I want to do for damage? I look at the super attacks. For me, I want to capitalize on this 18 key super. If I can launch a mega colossal super attack on all enemies and have a critical hit take place as well, that is essentially kind of like a Dokkan attack. Obviously not nearly as powerful, but it's like a microcosm of a Dokkan attack. So that would be my primary focus, which means I'm going for full critical and balance additional. And notice, no dodge, because again, we have built-in guard. Now for you, you might not feel like guard is enough based on your experience, or maybe you have some weaker teams. You might need a little bit more than guard, so it kind of varies on person to person. But for me, the answer is very clear: 20 critical and 6 additional. Moving on to the STR Kaioken. This one is very obvious. I'm not going to spend too much time here. The high chance for a critical hit in the passive essentially solves the problem. The possibility for gaining attack and attack and attack is quite high. Also has the ability to transform orbs into STR, which means the chances of launching a super attack and an ultra super are very high. With a 50% chance of a built-in critical hit, our only course of action is to go for additional or dodge. The reason why I would choose additional over dodge is because I want this unit to potentially actually take some damage. The active skill is predicated on taking damage, whereas if we give too much dodge, that could potentially get in the way of executing this active skill. And make no mistake, we're already damaging ourselves a little bit as we go with the ultra super attack, sacrificing 4% health. I would rather launch multiple supers than not. When you're massively raising attack and defense, and having all the stats that you do on this unit, I just want to be padding on those stats over and over and over. So for the STR Kaioken Goku, maximum additional of 15, 5 critical, and 6 dodge. Unfortunately, the 5 critical cannot be avoided because as an STR unit, your base trait will be given to critical, even though it's not necessary. Moving on now to the free-to-play LR. Now, this unit I am very much stumped on. I don't really know how I want to build this unit as of yet. I'll probably make a decision on the fly, but let's just take a look at what this unit does. Raises attack and defense for 1 turn, massively raises attack for 1 turn, causes mega colossal. Here we go. Key plus 3 attack and defense plus 70 for 7 turns. Okay. Attack and defense plus 70%. Key plus 1 plus an additional attack plus 70 when in the presence of Goku on the team. Gains key plus 1 in defense when Goku is attacking on that same turn. And the same exact passive happens again for the Vegeta, except the stats are swapped. So the only problem here is, with all of these stats, is this unit able to hold his own in a slot 1 defense, or even after launching a couple of supers, can this unit hold his own on some of the more difficult events? If the answer is no, then you might want to consider going for some dodge, but at the same time, couldn't padding your stats actually help out more? Or maybe couldn't it help to focus on damage output and just get as much as you can done within the first 7 turns before this unit drops off? That's why this one is kind of tough for me. Let me know in the comments. I actually very much want to know how you guys want to build this free-to-play LR hybrids. Half additional, half critical is kind of where I'm thinking. Maybe a 3 dodge wouldn't be so bad. It's not a guarantee, but some people like to have that 3 dodge in there. So I'm going to say, like, I don't know, 14 additional and 12 critical is my build. But let me know in the comments what you guys think. Moving on now to the the year 3 EZAs, the Vegito and the Gogeta. Now I gotta say, their untransformed states are spectacular. Built-in dodge and built-in critical. So it means that if you want to capitalize on the untransformed state, you can go for full additional. I don't want to do that. I actually want to focus on how they are when they transform, because while it may be very restrictive to actually get them to transform, once they do, I want them to be as powerful as they possibly can. And with some of the more difficult events that are coming up during the 7-year anniversary, to me, that feels like it's more important, but I could be wrong. So this could be another point of contention here. This unit has a counter mechanic now. Once transformed, reduces damage received by 30% for 3 turns, after which the damage reduction drops off to 15%. Do I want to focus on additionals to pad these stats by launching multiple supers, or do I want to focus on critical so that I can do the maximum amount of damage on my target with free attacks? Counters are basically free attacks, and the more critical hits that you have, you could potentially see yourself taking out opponents without even lifting a finger. So to me, I feel like an emphasis on critical is more important, even though your untransformed state already has that. But then think about it this way. This is a 30% chance to launch a critical hit. If this fails, you have a secondary 30% chance to launch a critical hit, thanks to this build right here. 6 additional, 15 critical, and 5 dodge. The 5 dodge is unavoidable because that is a built-in int unit trait. But 15 critical and 6 dodge doesn't seem too bad to me. Let me know in the comments if you guys agree or disagree with that one. That one might be tough. Moving on to the physical Gogeta, this one's very obvious in terms of the transformed state. In terms of the untransformed, it actually kind of helps because, again, since there's critical and dodge already taken care of, the answer is additional, and that is indeed what we're going to be doing. In the Gogeta transformed state, take a look at the passive. Attacks effective against all types, attack and defense plus 200, performs a critical hit guaranteed and high chance of dodging for the first 3 turns from the start of a turn, which means the only course of action is to go for additional. High chance of performing a critical hit and medium chance of evading happens after that fact. Still, additional will remain viable. So this one is a very easy sell, maximum additional, and then the balance can go to dodge, or honestly, whatever you want. You can go for critical if you want. For me, I would go for dodge because that enhances your slot 1, turn 1 defense. Moving on to the final 2 units, the year 4 LRs. For these, I'm going to be very oversimplified in terms of my approach. Since they can counter, since they have the potential to do some amazing damage with these links, Saiyan Roar, Super Saiyan, all these different links, I just want to focus on as much damage as I possibly can, and I want to maximize my critical hit ratio. Both these guys can massively raise attack temporarily, cause ultimate damage with their active skill. They can launch some pretty insane supers with their ultra super anyway. I just want that to be their focus. I just want them to damage as much as possible, and when they counter a super attack once in a while, I want that to also be a lot of damage. So I am giving them both maximum critical. The Super Saiyan 4 Goku and the Super Saiyan 4 Vegeta, I want them to both have critical and then balance additional. That way, if the critical hit fails and maybe potentially the additionals actually kick in, with enough supers on both under their belts, they can potentially maybe get out of a lethal attack if the medium chance to dodge fails. So here's my build: 11 additional, 15 critical, and 11 additional, 15 critical. I want them both to focus. Actually, wait, for the Vegeta, it wouldn't be 11 additional, it would actually be 20 critical. So let's just do 20 critical here, and then this would be a 6 additional. That's right, this is an STR unit. By the way, why aren't you guys colored? I want you guys to be pretty. Get pretty. Do that, and we do that. There we go. So there you have it, folks. That is how I build, or I'm going to build, my 7-year anniversary LRs, and I would love to know from you guys in the comments down below. Do you agree or disagree with any of these takes? There is a lot of subjectivity to be had, so don't be surprised if you disagree with all of them. But I would love to see a very productive and constructive conversation down below. Guys, thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, be sure to leave a like down below. Let me know in the comments your thoughts on these builds, and let me know in the comments if you have the actual hidden potential orbs to fund all of these units and rainbow them, or 69% them, 79% them, whatever you want to do with these units. Do you have enough to actually get the job done? Let me know in the comments down below. Also, be sure to subscribe for more dope content in the future, and click the notification bell so that you let YouTube know you want to see more of my stuff. Do it. Thanks again. Stay tuned, and always remember to Dokkan responsibly. I totally just slurred my words. You know what? I don't care. Now I'm gonna do it again. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, be sure to leave a like down below. Let me know in the comments. Okay, goodbye.